Well, that's news to me.
It's news to Alex. Well, Alex, you could say ka-chow. You could do things that.
Ka-chow.
There we go. That we didn't
he
have
takes a
your
vacation and drops the ball.
So I am in a full disclosure 3-hour time zone shift. I shifted for 3 days and went back, and it is everything that they call jet lag. It is a thing. It feels very disorienting.
I get it.
And you're only 1 day into this, correct?
Yeah. I think day 2 is when it really sucks, is what I've heard. At least that's what it seemed like going there.
Yeah. I've been 2 hours away, but not 3, and it was day 2.
Yeah, no, so that was how it was going too. Like the first day, I'm like, this isn't bad. I don't know what everyone's talking about. And the next I was like, but I'm back.
But you're back. And we are live on YouTube on Sunday, October 12th. It's been an interesting weekend, especially for Penn State faithful, Penn State football fans. We'll definitely hear my take on this, along with everyone else's thoughts from that situation, as well as everything in the college football and the NFL world. As always, thanks to everybody that's interacting with everything on our socials at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, poke, like, tickle.
Get the bell on.
Ding, ding.
Get that bell on. As a reminder, once we get to 100 subscribers, we will be giving away
prizes.
Prizes?
Prizes. I would say almost certainly from Harper and Company. Nate, are you going to do the jingle?
I don't even know if Nate's on the show. He might be frozen.
No, I'm not frozen.
Oh, there he is.
Deadpan delivery. Nope, not frozen. Moving on.
Just ignoring you.
All right. This brings us, we are going to do the lead off today because there are some things to chat about before we get into the college football world. Jim, you have some review on files information, apparently?
Before we dive in, I just think we're at that point in the season where we need to review some things. I needed some refresher on things. So we're going to start from where we started and kind of help me out here with the first one. Muff says Dolphins versus Bengals over. Does anybody remember what that note was?
He's taking the over in that game.
See? It's very simple.
That really felt.
They haven't played.
I don't know why he said that.
Because of Joe Burrow's injury and the Dolphins sucking.
Okay.
And but he said the over for that?
That's what the note says.
I think I put it in super early, just saying that was going to be a game with fireworks. And full disclosure, after today's Bengals performance, I don't feel any differently about that.
Okay. All right. Next note was Anthony Richardson doesn't make it past the Steelers. That one was correct.
Oh, we have an update for today on that one too. Nate found this gem, and it is a gem.
See, so we got that. Nate, what is a panther?
A pussy.
Thank you. I will no longer be talking about the scandal event that happened with Michigan. I feel like I've upheld that pretty well.
Fair.
Any objections?
Are you talking about?
I can't.
Connor Stallions? Are you talking about Connor Stallions? Just affirm or
yes.
deny? Alex, will you affirm or deny that for me?
Yes, that is what he's talking about.
That is confirmed. Okay, I didn't know what all that meant. So yes, you have stayed steadfast.
Thank you. Paige Beckers is the new young face of the WNBA within the next 2 years.
We have a timeline on that. I think she's on pace to be.
I was just going to say, I think she's maintaining pace.
Next, Dart will start by week 8 over under. The three of us, not Muff, said that will happen. We took the under. Muff took the over.
I think that was strictly a contrarian take.
It was because it says Muff being Muff. I feel like we did well. Right? We hit that?
We did.
Okay. Then there's the Bama versus Florida State take. I was wrong. Muff was right. There was a whole argument on the show.
What was the basis? What was the generals of the argument? I honestly don't
believe
recall.
that Florida State was as good as and should be looked at as Alabama. Jury was still out on Florida State, and you were rightfully so, obviously. As they lost to Pitt this week. On 9/24, Muff was a hypocrite. And that's my own special note.
That's in the betting world. That has nothing to do with this show.
I just want to make sure that I just
like that. Not anymore. Hypocrite.
On 9/24,
I have my own note. On 9/24, Jim continued to be an asshole.
Okay. On 9/24, if Penn State beat Oregon, I had to say James Franklin was great. I did not have to say that. And on 10/8, if Penn State beat Northwestern, I would no longer go against homecoming.
That's your note?
Yes.
Perfect. That means I can still talk about homecoming.
No, it says Penn State doesn't cover. I'm sorry. There would be no more talk of homecoming.
That's not what you just said.
Well, you just changed the whole note.
You can't change it. If that was your note, we have to stick to your notes.
Muff, we can go back to the recording.
But the official record is the files.
When we go to, it's right here. I'll share my screen if I have to. But you know what I meant. We no longer have to talk about homecoming, thanks to Penn State not covering.
Okay. I mean, I'll still probably talk about it, but only if it is substantive to a bet that I am making. I will not talk about it otherwise.
Okay. So that's
my
the
little brother
update
went down
from
this
the
past
files
weekend
that we are keeping this year.
All right.
That only you're in charge of, correct?
That I'm in charge of.
Jim is in charge of those. So, yes, that is Jim's baby. All right, let's do it. Who's got feedback? Somebody have the YouTube show
That
up
was Alex.
on now.
No, I don't.
Well, you're the one who popped up when he talked.
All right. So, James Franklin. Obviously, we will move backwards. We had the loss to Oregon. Okay. Fans aren't happy because it's another high-profile matchup loss, especially at home in the whiteout. We move along, and obviously we know the next week Penn State loses to newly minted offensive coordinator, can't work the headset, Neuheisel, and UCLA. Nico, I'm gonna leave you with an L.
Ooh, good job.
Then we move to this week against Northwestern. Again at home. I believe, Jim, this was homecoming.
It was.
Everything lines up for a get back, get right game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Penn State, hey, you know what? We can put everything in the rear view, focus on this game, move along, one game at a time. Get to the Indiana game, get to the Ohio State game. Maybe not in that order. I forget what order they're in.
Ohio State first, I think.
Ohio State first. Get to that game. Do what you got to do. Put up a fight. Be there in the fourth quarter. If you pull out a win, fantastic. Now we're playing for our playoff lives. Instead, against Northwestern.
Wait, can we put a pin in that for a second right there? Just right there. Your playoff door was starting to open with Indiana beating. I mean, that all these losses, all these upsets, the door was wide open.
Yes, things were progressing on Saturday to allow Penn State to climb the ranks of the Big Ten.
Doing nothing but just win the game.
Beat Northwestern, and you will start to not even inch at that point. You will start to make strides closer to the rest of the top of the division.
I mean, Texas is 21 right now with their win over Oklahoma. Now, mind you, it's a ranked win. But you got to figure Penn State beats Northwestern, they get ranked 25th if they beat Northwestern, right?
They're either getting votes towards the top 25 or they are 25.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead, Muff.
Right. I wouldn't say definitively they would, but they would be back in the conversation to be a ranked team.
They're sniffing the door.
Right. I did not watch the first half of this game, but I saw the score of the first half, and my only thoughts were, this is going exactly how the Oregon and exactly how the UCLA game went. We have a poor defensive effort and an offensive strategy that was not tailored to beat a Northwestern defense. Right? They're down at half, 3 scores, 14 or 17 points. I forget what the difference was. So I pick up about midway through the third quarter. Okay, Penn State's starting to get some stuff done, score a touchdown after Northwestern goes up by 3 scores. Then we get a blocked punt for a touchdown. We're within a score. All right. Tides are turning. Then Northwestern just runs the ball down Penn State's throat. As if the defensive line and the front 7 didn't even exist. We get to the second level, pretty much every play. We're picking up chunk yardage, right? They're not even having to throw the ball, so it's not even like you can pin your ears back at any point. You were just getting bulldozed. Penn State gets the ball back. We have third down. And as is wont to happen throughout the entire season, Drew Aller steps back to pass on 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. And every wide receiver runs a 6-yard stop route. Nobody's open. Oh my God, it's like this has happened all year. Drew Aller has to tuck the ball and run. Not only does he get tackled, but his ankle gets rolled up on, and immediately we see that Drew Aller is in a bad spot. They take him off the field. We go for it on 4th and 5. We bring in the backup quarterback, Ethan Grunkmeyer, who, let's just say, is not a world beater by any means. He also cannot find an open receiver. Surprise, surprise. He tries to tuck it and run and is tackled pretty much at the line of scrimmage. Turnover on downs. Penn State loses. The Fire James Franklin chants begin, but with a bit of new vigor and enthusiasm. Because now the Penn State fans that really thought this was a possibility think we've lost 2 games when we were favored by 20 or more points. And in the last 30 years, maybe in all time in college football history, this is the only team that has ever performed this feat. Now we have our ammunition to truly make a statement to fire James Franklin. Penn State's now 3-3. We are beating down the door. I still hold steadfast. That's $58 million, people. We've been fueling the war chests, but I don't know if we got $60 million worth just to throw away. Sunday rolls around. Sunday rolls around. I'm on the golf course, and soccer guru Andrew, breaks the news. Hey, I think they just fired James Franklin. Story broke a half hour ago. I was in disbelief. Baseball guru Hugh and I were sitting there, and I said, there's no way. There's no way that they're going to buy out this $60 million after these 3 losses. We need to at least have a losing overall season. It is confirmed. All of the group chats blow up. What do you think? Oh my God, I can't believe this happened. I just continue to golf my game, shoot an 82 at Old Stonewall, and move about my day. And now I come to chat with you all. So I'm going to ask each of you your thoughts before I give you my big picture Penn State football thoughts.
About what do you want my thoughts?
The whole situation, the firing, where do you think the path forward?
So I'm gonna catch a lot of heat and a lot of smoke from my whole field. I'll take the easy one first, and that's I am not happy that they fired him for the sake that, like, now who the hell am I going to make fun of? 1. 2. I understand Jim Knowles is like, yes, your defense won Ohio State the Heisman or the national championship last year for Ohio State, and I am thankful for that from Jim Knowles. And I understand that I will now sound like a hypocrite because I believe that him leaving, I hate Penn State for taking him, and I was all baby back butthurt about it and felt like Ohio State should have rolled up the Brinks truck for him. And in the moment of vigor and stupid fan rivalry, I was upset about it. But as I thought on the James Franklin situation, I remember that the year prior to the Ohio State National Championship, we had a moment where we weren't great defensively, and Ryan Day, it was said in Columbus, it was said over the radios, it was the town buzz that Ryan Day marched into the defensive room and said, "Your time at the helm and your free reign of running the defense is over. Like, I am going to be more involved in the defense." And James Franklin, I feel, did not see the writing on the wall with Jimmy Knowles and didn't play a big enough part in that defense and let him run roughshod by himself. So part of James Franklin's undoing is Jim Knowles' fault. And do I feel bad? I can't believe I'm saying it. For James Franklin, yes. In hindsight, this is a guy who brought the program to relevancy back from the abysmal place where it was. Now, Bill O'Brien does get credit because he got it through the storm of Joe Paterno. But James Franklin picked it up and elevated it to another level. And because he was blinded by the hype of Jimmy Knowles in a national championship and didn't grab the reins where he should have, I believe it cost him. That's my take on James Franklin.
All right, Alex.
You're still muted, bud.
Unmute yourself.
Am I muted now?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, never mind. So I can understand why they fired him. I didn't see it coming. And I'm not saying that I didn't think that at the end of this year they would do some serious soul searching to see if this was the direction they wanted to go. But I'm kind of with Muff on that's a lot of money. And like your hopes are shot this year. So like, do you just let him ride it out? And does that number go? And I would have to like figure out more, but does that number go down at the end of the season? I don't know.
Just to throw a little dose of like some things I've learned.
Yeah.
I believe if he gets picked up by another school, the buyout goes smaller. I believe that the losses from the commitment, the 5 stars, the 4 stars that have already committed were falling off before the game, and they had lost some after that loss. A couple 5 stars and a 4-star had fallen off right before they announced they were firing him. So I think that's to stop the bleeding for years to come.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to give you. That's all I know.
Does this open any kind of window for anyone at Penn State right now to jump ship?
Yeah, right, Muff? They all can go.
I mean, I don't know what their contract clauses say. They may have to finish out the year. I am unsure. I'm sure everybody's got some type of buyout clause, whether or not it's
players.
Oh, players, yeah. Once you fire the head coach, you have time to put yourself in the portal now. Like, I forget how many weeks you have after a change. You usually see it at the end of the season. But if it's outside of the typical portal, you can enter the portal within so much time after a head coach leaves. Right? It looks a little bit different mid-season, but there are options.
But they can't redshirt anymore if they've played in these 6 games, can they? They lose at your eligibility.
Right. Yeah. You lose the eligibility, but you can enter the portal outside of the typical portal timeline.
Okay. And I can see Aller taking a injury red shirt, right?
He's played too many games.
I don't know. I think they'll give him an exception.
I don't think there is an exception. I don't think they can just say that we'll let it go this time.
Coach sucked. He left, and I was broke, Dick. Give me my season back.
I don't think that that's an option, though. I don't know that there's like an appeals committee to be like, but
All right,
But no,
Alex, Nate.
okay. I was gonna say to Jim's point, I definitely think this is a kind of a move to get ahead of the recruiting trail. Because I mean, yeah, you let him ride out the year, maybe you don't have the bigger buyout, but now it's like, all right, we know we're gonna lose recruits. Let's get on this now and not just like kick the can down the road and then hopefully these recruits still come. If we say, hey, this guy's gonna be gone, we're gonna go a different direction and try to get ahead of it now. So maybe they gotta try to find the portal. They gotta look at different high school kids. Now it's almost to the point where, okay, we're gonna ride this season along, but how quickly do we try to find an interim head coach or name a new head coach? And one name that I saw come up earlier, and I don't know how this would fly, was Matt Rule.
Yeah, let's hold on a second before we go down to that. That's a whole separate conversation. But I like where your head's at, Nate.
We've already named an interim.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, this is cornerbacks coach, defense recruiting coordinator, and associate head coach Terry Smith has been named interim.
I have two thoughts to bounce off of you, Nate. Like, one, I agree. The next coach is interesting. I agree that to stop the bleeding, I'm glad we're thinking that. How much of this, Muff, is hey, a $50-$60 million loss compared to all the NIL guys are going to be gone. So our recruiting's going to fall. We're losing the 4 or 5 stars. Like, we need to stop the bleeding now. And they just had like PTSD. The recruiting hit that we took from Joe Pa, we don't want to live that again. Plus, they look at UCLA. Oh, their coach was gone, and now look at them. So maybe we catch an Ohio State. Maybe we catch an Indiana because they don't know what we're bringing with an interim.
I think, I mean, all of this could be a part of the discussion that was had leading up to and then after this game. Once you have this outcome, got to believe this is not like the first conversation, right? They had discussed what could happen if this played out the way it did. My big picture thought on this whole situation is we had already lost recruits, right? James Franklin, right, for all the big games that he has not won, has continued to bring in higher profile recruits than you were used to having on your squad, having these higher ranked recruiting classes. He is a program builder. He is a program manager. He is not an offensive mind. He is not a defensive mind, right? Which is always why I was like, you know what? I'm going to put a little bit more of the weight and the burden on these coordinators because James Franklin's never come out and said, I want to call the plays. I want to do this, and this from the strategy perspective as far as the game day strategy. So, right, we can point the finger at Jim Knowles a little bit. We can point the finger at Andy Kotelnicki a little bit because that's why he brought them in. Manage, make that offense work, make everything else work, right? Kotelnicki has a pure pocket passer back there in Drew Aller and still runs the Kansas offense where he had running quarterbacks that you could run read option, you could do all these gadget plays, right? That does not, they were not meeting the needs and the talent that they had on the field. Defensively and offensively, along the offensive lines, they have lost NFL talent over the past 2 to 3 years, and they have not been able to put that back onto the field and develop it appropriately. That and losing some of these 5 and 4 stars is on James Franklin, right? Being a recruiting manager and putting the right people in place, going into the portal and finding the right pieces. This all came to a head this year, especially when you get run on against UCLA and Northwestern runs the game out on you. And we've lost 3 recruits within the past week, right? This is on James Franklin. This is the first time and the only time that I would have said, no matter if he was fired or not, we've got a problem with James Franklin right now because he is not managing the program appropriately to keep it on the track that it has been. We have plateaued, and now we are going to start to see this downfall unless we find fire in the barrel with some of these recruits that are 3 and 4 stars. Right? So that's my big picture thought as far as everything can be true as to what you're saying, but we need to do something now because we need to find the next guy or at least stop this bleeding. Just salvage a recruiting class and get somebody in who's coming from a program that they can bring some culture guys in, and we can start not from scratch, but start from, hey, they're going to bring 10 to 15 guys in from their program, and this is the culture fit. And now we're going to at least not go bottomed out. We're going to just slowly come down, and we're going to plateau a step or two below where we are, and then we can build up from there. So that's
Okay,
why I
so-
think all of this came to be.
So this brings us to who's next.
Right. You're going to see Matt Rule because he's a Penn State guy. He's at
That's who
Nebraska.
thinks next?
Huh?
That's who you think's next?
No, that's who I think everybody's going to talk about. I don't know if he's going to be next. He is the sexy pick, the sexy thought,
I
the sexy
disagree.
person.
I disagree. I don't think
Well,
he's the sexy pick. The
Who's the
sexy
sexiest?
pick, everybody's on all the social media is banging the Kurt Signetti pick. Everybody wants him on social media. I don't think he leaves Indiana,
That was what I was just going to say. Why would Kurt Signetti leave Indiana?
but that's who everybody's wants. That's what everybody's pushing for. That's what everybody's hammering.
Right. I mean, I understand. He's a Pittsburgh guy. He's a Pennsylvania person.
Yeah,
He's at a school where football has been the afterthought. But to his credit, he's built up the program, and he have money coming into that program. They're actually rerouting money that would typically go to the basketball program to the football program.
Yep.
Right. He's at the tail end of his career, right? For good or bad, that's the reality. I don't know if he wants to jump ship right now. Penn State has more resources. Penn State has a better football brand than Indiana. But I think he likes that challenge because of his history. Yep. He went to James Madison, right? He made a winner out of less than a winner, and he's doing the same thing in Indiana. I think he needs 5 years at Indiana before he even talks about it or considers it.
Yep.
Which is why I think the sexy pick, the real sexy pick, as far as a real option, is Matt Rule, especially if Nebraska's season does not go as it has for his third year in any program he's been leading.
Then there's what's his face at Duke?
The guy that used to be the DC.
Yep.
Elko?
Oh no,
Diaz.
Manny D.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can say that. I mean, it's definitely an upgrade for him in every way possible.
How do you feel about that?
I would have a problem with Manny Diaz as a defensive-minded coach. I don't think that's a bad fit.
But you're on Matt Rule. That's your guy.
Matt Rule is number one on my list. I think he's the number one realistic option. I don't think Signetti is a realistic option.
Yeah, I mean,
Manny Diaz is on the short list for me as well, but I don't know if he's number one.
That's the one they're talking about pretty hard. Then there's Manny Diaz. Then there's Vanderbilt's Clark Lee.
We just did that.
And then
that's where James Franklin came from.
Right. Iowa State's Matt Campbell. Alex, how do you think about that?
I don't know. I think that's a pretty big jump. I think that we've named some other possible candidates before we get to that.
So those are the names that I have seen, and the articles are being written about being thrown in the mix.
I mean, we'll see. I don't know how quickly this is going to happen.
If I had to pick, if it was me, non-Ohio State, like truly looking out for Penn State, I think your culture pick is Matt Rule. I think you're on the money there. I think from a programmatic, if you want a Ryan Day style program, I don't think any of those candidates are good. I think you go somewhere else. If you want
full
like
disclosure, I don't want a Ryan Day style program.
I mean, from a sense of you're running the program like a GM, and you go get coordinators.
Right. We just had that. Again, I think they're going to want somebody that's a little bit more hands-on.
Do you think that's the way to go in college football? Like, you think that's the way to run it?
Whatever they
I don't
just
think
did
that's
work.
the best way to go, but I think that's the shift that is needed. We need a pendulum swing in that direction.
Then which side of the ball do you want the focus on?
I mean, I personally want him on the defensive side.
The Manny Diaz is your guy, right?
Matt Rule also has a defensive background, if I recall.
Okay.
Manny Diaz is the better defensive mind, but Matt Rule also has that background.
I don't think Matt Rule can handle the new style of college football. That's my opinion.
Well, we're going to find out, and hopefully we find out in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
You know who I would throw the bag at, the Brinks truck at? Bielema.
I mean, there's the creamery there. I'm sure that he would enjoy that.
All right.
All right. The next thought is, does James Franklin end up somewhere quickly? And if so, where do we think that will be? Round robin, start with Alex.
No, I think that he is out of the game for a little while.
Nate.
I agree with Alex. I don't think he's going to be in any rush to get back in the game. If we're going to be paying him 50-some mil for him to sit at home and not coach, he's going to do the Coach O treatment.
Jim.
I think for 1 year, he's going to make sure Penn State pays him. I think he's pissed off he got kicked out. I think for at least a year, he's going to make sure Penn State pays him. I think that second year, it would depend on where it's at. I think he's an ego guy, so it's going to be a prestigious school that picks him up.
Yeah, I see him, if anything, within the next 2 years, headed back to the SEC.
Yeah, or Michigan. I could see him going to Michigan.
Yeah, there was speculation of Florida, but that would be more immediate just because of what's been going on at Florida.
He won't go to Florida.
No, I think it's a bottom third SEC program that's looking to build their program. I mean, that's what he's been proven to be able to do, right?
Yep.
Take a program that is sitting, in like the stagnant position and invigorate some life into it, bring recruiting classes and build the program. Like that's what he does. Yeah. I mean, that's what he does well. I'm not saying he gets them over the top, but he brings programs to the national forefront.
But I could see him going to Michigan. Like I could literally see him going to Michigan where the coordinators are good, the things built around him. I could see him doing that.
All right. So we've had
You're muted, Muff.
probably more than anybody wanted to listen to, but we had the Penn State talk there. Let's get into a couple more things in the leadoff here and then get into some college football. In the leadoff, we have the Las Vegas Aces winning the WNBA crown behind Asia Wilson, who did this during the WNBA season. She has won the scoring title. She was the league MVP, the defensive player of the year, and the finals MVP. And guess what? She is the first professional basketball player in the NBA or WNBA to ever have completed this quartet of honors.
And none of the hype was around her. So that's crazy.
This is, I think, the major concern with the WNBA. We, part of the problem, only talk about who's the best new young face when you have a dominant player on a team that has won, I think, 3 of the last 4 WNBA titles, and that's not the person getting the pub.
I mean, I understand that, but like that's the league's fault as well. Like they don't push the sport, they push the story. And to some extent so does the NBA. Like they don't push the sport, they push the story. That's why your dunk contests aren't a big deal. That's why the feats that they do on the court, both the NBA and the WNBA, don't matter anymore. It's trade deadlines and who showed up to what party with who. It's not about the sport of basketball anymore in both leagues.
Yeah, it's an interesting stat and interesting to put out there because if I'm gonna be full disclosure, the last 2 to 3 weeks of the WNBA season and the entire playoffs did not hit my algorithm one bit.
No.
So
No.
for all that they're talking about, pay us what we're worth, your playoffs didn't get the pub and didn't reach the viewership. What you're worth right now is the fact that your league is driven by drama and storylines that don't translate into basketball stories, especially when you get to the postseason. And the postseason is where you're supposed to have your viewership and where you're supposed to be able to highlight your best teams and your best players. WNBA is not getting it right. There we go. And last in the lead off, R.I.P. Sister Jean.
Guys, this was so sad. I knew it was coming though because she stepped away. I'm like, Sister Jean would have never given up until it was time to go to the Lord.
Well, Alex, she's gone to the Lord.
T's and P's.
T's and P's to everybody in the Loyola family. All right, let's get into NCAA football action week number 7. This is in, I would say, order of interest that I put it together. So we're just going to go down the line and talk about what we talk about. Number 7, Indiana, 30. Number 3, Oregon, 20.
This game was hard to judge in terms of like, is it Indiana's that good? Was Oregon's defense that bad? I read a hot take that Dan Lanning is the new James Franklin because he can't win the big one. I think that's a little early.
Yeah, definitely premature.
Literally just beat. I mean, like, I know it's like a bad look back now, but he just beat Penn State in the whiteout, which, yeah, maybe Penn State's having a down year, but still to win in the whiteout.
Right. I agree. I can tell you that Oregon's defense in this game was abysmal. Indiana ran it right down their throats. They couldn't stop Indiana's offense. Indiana's good. Are they great? I don't know.
This entire week in college football demonstrated to me what 2 years of the transfer portal and NIL have done to college football as a whole. Right?
That's a great take.
We have parity. Right now, we've got top 2 or 3 teams that we would say are the class of the class. And even then, it's debatable top 3. After that, we've got a list of 30 teams that can show up any given week and have the ability and the skill to match up against other teams in that 20 to 30 team spot and give us a game worth watching.
I agree with that.
This particular game, I think, demonstrates to me more about what Indiana has done in the offseason in the portal this year to beef up their offensive line, to be better able to compete against top-tier defenses that are stout in the front 7, and that they have actually made an improvement on defense that is demonstrated, if only by one game, against a better opponent. They have done it. Right. And I did watch some of this game when I was at the new Wheel Bar in Wheeling, West Virginia. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I can sit here and say that Indiana is not a legit top 10 team right now.
Yeah, I agree. That's fine. I think they're a top 10 team, but I don't know that this is this more about them being great or Oregon is not.
I think this goes to that parity, right?
Okay.
Indiana traveled to Oregon and played a great game against a solid opponent and demonstrated the improvements that they have made. Whether or not those improvements translate to every week against big-time competition, they showed it in 1 week, which is more than they showed last year against their schedule.
I will tell you this, and this is from all the games. I think there's a theme defensively that if you aren't disciplined, if you aren't prepared, and this is the players to the coaches, if your head's not on right, you will get got. This is not one of those you can show up and half-ass, and you'll pull it, and the other side of the ball will pull through. Like, you have to do your job because of that parity, and that other side of the ball has talent. And a lot of these games, that's what happened. If you're not on the entire game, you're going to get punched in the mouth. Yep,
you will get exposed.
Yep.
You will. A team that got somewhat exposed. Number 1, Ohio State 34, number 17, Illinois
somewhat.
16.
Not somewhat. They got exposed. Matt Patricia, you're a genius. Bielema did his homework. He just didn't kick it in time. Because if they did that hurry up the whole game, I don't know that we had a quick adjustment for it.
I mean, I was going to initially that Illinois was exposed. Right? They did make the comeback, but if you're saying that Ohio State's defense showed a chink in the armor, they put up 16 points, which is more than the amount of points they've given up pretty much all season, correct?
For the most part, yes. Ohio State has had this battle plan all year where we're gonna slow play opening the playbook, and we're gonna use Jeremiah Smith to get your attention, and then we're gonna get it to everybody else. Well, this time around, like Bielema kind of did a balanced attack and kind of put everybody on an island, and that was fine. We could still score because we got the talent, but the defense for the first half held its own, and then that second half, towards the end of the first half into the second half, that's where Ryan Day wants to win, Bielema said, all right, we'll just hurry it up and ram it down your throat. And we didn't have the time to adjust and play the games and the schematics. And that's where everybody was like, oh, you're good. You have the talent, but you can't adjust on the fly well.
So that's what we have from Ohio State. Alex, Nate, anything on either of those two games?
No,
I didn't get a chance to watch after my game.
I watched a little bit on and off on the plane, and I think Indiana proved that they're real. I think they are definitely a contender, and that's really all I have to say about either game from what I saw. I don't have any specifics.
All right, next, unranked Texas beats Oklahoma.
Now that Nate's on, can I ask a question about referee stuff? Pass interference. Pass interference. Mm-hmm. Can we explain what the rule is? Do I have to look at the ball? Can I put my hands on the receiver? How far can I put my hands on the receiver? Am I allowed to face block? Like, what exactly am I allowed to get away with?
I mean, you can have your hands on the guy as long as you're not impeding his progress to the ball.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you'll see guys running down the field the entire time, like shoulder to shoulder and like hand fighting, as you always hear it called. But yeah, I mean, as far as face guarding, you can non-contact face guard in high school. I'm not entirely sure with the college stuff yet. Still learning that on the fly. But yeah, I mean, really, it's what kind of restriction? Like, did you hook and turn the guy? Did you grab and restrict him? Did you have early contact? Did you play through the guy? Did you not play the ball? Things like that.
If you could, and obviously you have a lot on your plate.
Do you have a specific play in mind?
Igbinosa. No, all of them. The way that Igbinosa plays is like, I feel for the opposing team. Because to me, everything he does is pass interference, and the referees are picking and choosing when to call it. He's notorious for his play. And up until today, or Saturday, he wasn't getting called this season. And then Saturday, it felt like they were calling it, and then they weren't calling it, and then they were making up makeup plays to call it. And, like, I just want to know, like, is he a dirty player? I just want to know. So if you could, like, watch a couple of his plays sometime and let me know, like, no, he's a piece of shit, that'd be great. Sorry, Muff.
All right. Unranked Texas, 23, number 6, Oklahoma, 6 in the Red River Rivalry. Rivalry. Arch Manning gets a win.
Shut up.
No matter what you say about his performance, he helped Texas beat a top 10 team.
No, he didn't.
He objectively did.
I don't care. I'm not giving it.
Okay, as long as
Jim
you're
hates
just saying
Arch
that
Manning.
he's defiant and not that you actually think
Right.
that.
Arch
I don't
Manning.
hate Arch Manning. I don't hate Arch Manning.
Do you
I
hate the
hate
Manning
fact
family?
that the
Or do you
media.
hate the first family of football?
I'm not the biggest fan, but
Well, I understand as
I
a
hate the
Chargers
fact the
fan.
media just hangs on this man's nuts.
I appreciate the fact that he got to look at everybody and give him 2 middle fingers on Saturday.
Okay.
Right? Whether or not you like it, Jim, he got to look at everybody and say, hey, for everybody that's been out there hating, look what I just did.
He's soft. He's the softest baby shit. I
Go
think
on.
a lot of this Oklahoma beat themselves.
Oh, so we can't give him any credit. Or Texas's
I didn't say I wasn't
defense.
giving him credit, but I'm going to state some facts. Oklahoma beat themselves a lot. The quarterback was playing hurt and made really a lot of bad judgments. Texas defense is stout. Stout. Probably one of the best defenses in the league.
League or country?
Country. Yeah, okay, country. But Manning's good. He's good, but he's also soft. I think a couple times if he'd have gotten hit, it'd have been a different game. The offensive line for Texas is good. I think he's mentally soft.
Which is, and I'm not going to say to the soft because I didn't watch the game, so I don't have that to back up. But I can say that Texas said, you know what? We have this offensive line. We have 5-star running backs. Let's feed them the ball. I think this is the first game that their running backs have had like 15 plus carries. So they made a conscious effort to say, we're going to give these guys the ball, and that's going to help open up Arch Manning. And if it doesn't, it's because we're not running the ball. It has nothing to do with what Arch Manning is doing or not doing. Right?
Yes.
They finally said, we're going to commit to this, and it's going to help our offensive strategy and not just try to highlight Arch Manning.
Yes. Great take.
So
Great
that right there, good on Texas for just saying, you know what, just get back to smash mouth football and figure it out. Yep. Number 8, Bama, 27. Number 14, Missouri, 24. This has to be one of the 16 games that you watched, Jim.
It was not.
What?
It was not. I purposely avoided this game.
Because
I had a feeling Bama was going to win, and I didn't want to see him beat Missouri. I just avoided it.
Okay. There was the chatter that Eli Drinkowitz is like the new James Franklin in some ways. Like he's got the program to relevance, but can't get him over the top. I mean, realistically, that's somewhat true, right? They are a solid SEC team, but they cannot get over the top against the Blue Bloods.
Yep.
So.
Yep. That's the vibe.
But is that really to be expected at Missouri, though?
I think this time, he had his shot. I think this was the best shot he had.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Right, but even though, I mean, at this point, it's like, I think that's unexpected. Like, even to lose by 3, I'm like, damn, that's pretty good for Missouri. Like, I'm not expecting Missouri to go ever, in my mind, go win an SEC championship.
I don't agree, Nate. I think this was his year. I think this was the year to do it.
I think I'm with Nate
so
on
he's
this
saying he's
one,
out of the
honestly.
running now?
Yeah.
Come to Penn State. We'll see. We'll see what happens for both of these teams, right? This was kind of like a statement game for whichever team won this matchup. So I think that the sky's the limit for Bama now, especially as they get into the heart of their SEC schedule. Missouri still has an opportunity to get into the playoff, right? There's still that opportunity. It just is made a little bit more difficult now.
Yep.
So next, number 4, Ole Miss survives against Washington State, 24-21.
Yeah, they're not bulletproof, are they?
They are not. And I don't think anybody really thought Ole Miss was bulletproof. In fact, there are some, Brandon Walker, although he has an axe to grind with this, who believe that Ole Miss is the fraud of the top 5. In fact, they even stepped back this week in the rankings.
I would agree with that take.
So, I mean, this will be proven or disproven in the coming weeks in the SEC. But they win, they survive, and if they go out and win the SEC or play in the SEC championship game, you can come back and look at this game and say, like, we survived, we got the win, we move forward. Number 5, Texas A&M 34, Florida 17. Was this one of
Texas
the 16
was in
games?
it for a little bit,
Florida.
or Florida was in it for a little bit, and then they just lost steam. They couldn't hang.
Like
Yeah.
the first quarter, maybe a little bit, but then
No,
wasn't
first half.
it? Okay.
I mean, it was
I just
like
had to catch up after, so that's
it
just
was
what it
like
seemed like when you look back.
24-17. They were within 7 for that whole first half. I thought Texas A&M was going to run, and they stayed within earshot for a good chunk of it, and then it was over.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't watch any of this. I mean, Texas A&M won a game they were supposed to win, right?
Yep.
They did what they were supposed to do. Number 11 LSU 20, SEC to be hopeful champion South Carolina 10. Is that take dead now, Jim?
It's dead.
For all the takes that we have had, you stood fast to that one for as long as you could.
I don't think it's probable anymore.
Yeah. So
I think all their outs are gone after that.
yeah. I mean, let's just remember, Jim, this isn't the betting show. That was homecoming in the Bayou.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Indeed.
remember. Indeed it was. In a shocking turn of events, Deion Sanders-led Colorado takes down number 22 Iowa State 24-17. Well, this isn't the betting show, Alex. Are we no longer betting against Colorado?
Honestly, this one had nothing to do with trying to just bet against Colorado. I just thought Iowa State would bounce back and get a solid win. So I didn't get to watch this game. I was on a plane in the sky, but
Some plane in the sky.
it sucks.
Literally, figuratively.
I literally was on a plane.
All right, was this before or after you stopped in Vegas and pumped some money in the machines?
I did not put any money in the machines in Vegas, but it was I don't know what the timing would have been because I was in a different time zone, so it's really hard to figure that out.
Still figuring it out.
But I
Colorado
did put
gets the
$0
win.
in 0 cents, and I was really proud of myself.
How do we
So,
feel about Colorado rushing the field?
Oh yeah.
dumb, dumb, DUM, dumb. Those things right there, those are the reasons that I can't fucking stand Colorado.
They're excitable, Alex. They're excitable. In other unranked wins, USC 31, number 15, Michigan 13. Nothing to say there, Ohio Homer?
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about this. Like, USC's good.
You were on their quarterback there.
But like Michigan, I want to say Michigan sucks, but they don't sometimes. I don't know.
Being
what to
cautious
do.
because this way, when Michigan wins again, he doesn't want to be
Did they?
like everyone's no receipts is saying Michigan sucks.
I don't know what to do. Like,
I mean, Michigan is about in the same spot they've been the past 2 or 3 seasons. Aside from their national championship runs, right? They're relevant, they're ranked, they fall up, they fall down, and they get to Thanksgiving and they find a way to be in that game.
Yeah.
So we will see what the future holds for both of these teams. Utah unranked beats number 21 Arizona State 42-10 in a game where Arizona State started 34-year-old quarterback Jeff Sims.
And nobody knows what's wrong with their quarterback.
It's like a Cam Rising situation.
On
both sides.
They're very tight-lipped about Arizona State's quarterback.
I wonder how many coaches are younger than that head or I wonder how many coaches for Arizona State were younger than the head quarterback. I'm sure he's older than most of those grad assistants. Maybe.
Yeah. There's probably like a quarter.
I'd say at least
staff.
a quarter of the.
Yeah, I agree, Nate. 100%. A quarter of that staff. Utah gets the ranked, Utah gets the ranked win. Pitt 34, number 25, Florida State.
Could
31.
you imagine if Arizona State won that game? Real quick, can you imagine if Arizona State won that game and he goes out with all those guys and like all the younger college guys and like, hey, can you go buy us beer?
Yeah, it would be funny.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Like, can he even go out with those guys?
I mean, yes. there could be consequences to his actions if he gets got. But yeah, that's a whole different. That's a generational gap. Unranked Pitt 34, number 25 Florida State 31. Jim, is this
Florida
the Pitt gotcha game?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I was going to say Florida got bit by Pitt.
With Pitt's backup quarterback or second quarterback. I mean, he was the starting quarterback in this particular game.
I honestly don't know what it's going to take for Florida State to be like good. I just don't know.
Here's my question. Does that mean that
Yeah,
WVU is better than Florida State?
Yes.
Just checking.
And de facto Bama.
No.
Yeah. Technically, WVU out of the 4 is on top.
This is Jim logic, just so we're clear.
Yeah, sure. I think WVU is some pieces away from being good. I think Florida State they just keep getting in their own way.
Yeah. Number 10, Georgia, 20, Auburn, 10, in what will forever be known as the Kirby Smart timeout game. Kirby Smart was running to an official, signaling timeout, saying timeout, game stopped. Kirby Smart says, "What? No, I didn't call timeout. I was clapping. And before I even knew what was going on with this, I said, that looks like a man that was caught in a lie. He was so demonstrative and so adamant. I was like, I don't believe him, even if I did not see the clip before of him actually going up to the official and signaling for a timeout. I said, that man lied. He's way too confident in what's going on here. Nate, I pose to you as an official, if that were to happen, and after the fact, you see this information, how do you not just screw that man every opportunity you get?
I just don't understand. Like, if you are for sure, you hear him saying timeout and you take a peek over your shoulder and you see him coming down like this, how do you not say, no, coach, I'm sure that you were saying timeout, or I saw you giving the timeout signal? Like, I just want to know what the conversation was.
Then don't run at me and clap. How about that?
Yeah, I want to know that what the conversation was. And how do you explain it to Hugh Freeze at Auburn? Say, oh, well, we just blew it dead. We got confused. Like, I just want to know the whole conversation that happened after that.
Yeah, and I did in one of our group chats pose to Nate, is this now something that there's a conversation about, that you can legitimately review something like this in the future, something that is that blatant and that telling with, I mean, this is what would be in the game? What would you call this? A game management? What do you call it? Like time management, clock management?
Like in this instance, I mean, you would have we called an inadvertent whistle where we stopped the game for no reason. And, I mean, you gave them an extra timeout, but that was a first.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what comes up. And that would be another cool discussion. And it wasn't a replay, but to be able to hear what the officials are saying on the field. But Georgia does get the win over Auburn 20-10. Texas Tech, number 9, Texas Tech 42, Kansas 17. Big 12 homer. Feeling good?
Yeah. I mean, they're legit. They look good. Yes, I feel good that we have someone.
There we go. Number 12, Tennessee 30.
I want to dive into this. What's your beef with Texas Tech?
I don't have a beef with Texas Tech. I said, yeah, they're good. They're legit. My beef at the beginning of the season wasn't really beef. I was hesitantly optimistic because they spent all of this money, so everybody assumed they would be good. However, at that point in time, I felt it was unfounded. Like, it was unproven. Like, yes, they spent a lot of money, and on paper they should be good, but on paper Penn State should have been good. Like, so now that's my point, saying they are legitimate. They have done what they needed to do to prove they spent their money wisely. They're good. What?
How do you feel about them spending money like they did?
Everyone else is doing it at this point. I don't like it across the board. I don't feel any differently about them doing it than all the other schools that do it. I don't like it, but it's not like I don't like it specifically at Texas Tech. I don't like it across the board. I'm not happy with the direction of college football. So
Okay. Okay.
All right, number 12, Tennessee, 34, Arkansas, 31.
I think that's the outcome that should have happened. I think that's Arkansas is good, even with their coach. Tennessee's not great. And that's the outcome we all assumed would happen. I would say. I think the next one, BYU 33, Arizona 27, is a more of a shocking outcome because Arizona sucks bad.
Arizona's no good, and there have been the BYU fraud alerts, and I think that they're going to find their way out of the top 25 within the next 3 to 4 weeks. It's just who's going to be the one that puts them out.
Yeah.
So, but for now, they're still there. They won. They get to move to the next week. Number 13, Georgia Tech 35, Virginia Tech 20.
Georgia Tech let Virginia Tech stay in it a little too long. Makes me hesitant about next week's game. But Virginia Tech also sneaks up. Like Virginia Tech's no slouch. So 15-point win's a good win.
It's a win. Move on to the next week. Number 24, South Florida, North Texas 36 in a fun Friday night matchup.
That was fun. Yep.
While, I mean, the score was not close, it was action-packed, especially through the first half.
Yep.
So that was a fun Friday night game. It highlighted two programs that were willing to just put them out on the table.
Yep. They were just Hail Marys. And by Hail, there was a slobber knocker.
Yeah, it was a fun Friday night game to have on TV. Good for South Florida. They are a team to be on the lookout for because of the way that they play, right? They're snapping the ball every 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Go, 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 go. Like, that's fun football to watch. It's especially a fun football game to watch when it's standalone. Number 16, Notre Dame 36, NC State 7. I believe NC State went up 7-0, and then Notre Dame just dominated.
And then Notre Dame walked around like they'd slayed a dragon, continuing my hatred for Notre Dame.
There we go. Top 15 in the AP as released today goes Ohio State, Miami, Indiana, Texas A&M, Ole Miss rounding out the top 5, Alabama, Texas Tech, Oregon, Georgia, LSU to round out the top 10. In the 11 to 15, we have Tennessee, Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, BYU.
And now we're like almost the opposite of how I felt last week. Like, I hate this list.
Well, when you have all of these ups and downs, there's going to be weeks where you don't like it, and where the public at large is not happy.
Yeah,
but it'll find its way once we get to the college football playoff rankings.
And the seeding is going to suck.
It's going to be tough.
It's good. The number 1 seed is not going to get the best draw out of this situation.
I mean, nor did they last year. All right, notable matchups for Week 8 this upcoming week in college football. We have number 10 LSU at number 17 Vandy. Number 14.
That's going to be a good game for the SEC. Like, that should be fun to watch.
Number 14 Oklahoma at South Carolina. Number 1 Ohio State.
Oklahoma on an upset alert.
That's at South Carolina. Not going to say it's homecoming season, but it's homecoming season. Number 1 Ohio State at Wisconsin. That's just the storyline of Luke Fickell.
14.5 favorite Ohio State.
You can probably lock that in for me pretty quick. Number 5 Ole Miss at number 9 Georgia in the game day game. This, I think Georgia could expose Ole Miss if Georgia comes to play.
Or Lane could knock Kirby out. You know what I mean?
That's why I like this as a game day game, because the storyline is fun.
Yep.
And plus,
I think this is either a blowout in favor of Georgia or it's a close game.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely agree to that. But that's a fun game day and a fun game to have on the slate. Number 11, Tennessee at number 6, Bama.
There's another one that I think it's the same thing. I think Bama could blow Tennessee out. or a close game.
I was just about to say the same thing. I think this one is another one that has a lot of potential.
Yep.
Number 20, USC at number 13, Notre Dame. I know
I
Jim's
think
definitely
if I
backing
saw that
USC.
right, Notre Dame's only a 2.5-point favorite. I'm pretty sure.
And Notre Dame's last chance at a ranked opponent.
Yeah.
Well, and that has the not homecoming, but just emotional charge behind it too.
Yeah. The rivalry.
Rivalry.
Yes.
Rivalry. And number 23, Utah at number
Is that a
15,
night game?
BYU.
It's got to be on NBC too, right? Night
With the
game,
clock.
and now it's a 7.5. That thing's moved since I saw it. Since I texted you, Muff, that's now a 7.5.
What was it? What did it open up at?
2.5.
Yeah, there we go. So this is maybe the BYU gets exposed game.
No, I'm talking about the USC game.
The USC game? Okay.
And Utah's going to beat BYU. I believe
Yeah.
that in my heart.
23 Utah at 15 BYU. I think that's the game to watch BYU to get doors blown off. We are going to skip the other NCAA football news because these are both probably going to be continuing discussions. Let's get into NFL Week 6. We start on Thursday Night Football as the Giants take down the Eagles 34-17. This marked an absolute terrible day in Philadelphia sports. Philadelphia becomes the only city to have their NHL team lose, their NFL team lose, and their Major League Baseball team lose and be eliminated in the same day since Philadelphia, who also did it in 1983.
Rough day to be a Philly fan.
Rough day to be a Philadelphia fan in every way possible. But this game was made very exciting on Thursday night because Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo have officially arrived in the national spotlight. How long the Bash brothers will remain healthy is yet to be seen, as both made some trips to the medical tent.
Odd dudes. Odd dudes.
And this was even further, and this was leading up to the game. Right, I saw the reports coming out of the way that Cam Scadaboo interacts with his teammates in practice, watching film, that he apparently is just an absolute goofball and yells out things that come to his head in response to things that coaches say. Right? I think one of them was they were in a kickoff meeting and they said, "You need to be fast. You need to get down there quickly," and blah, blah, blah. And Cam Scadaboo apparently was like, physicality, like in the middle of the meeting. And that was like his contribution.
He's blocking CTE.
I don't know if he's able to get CTE.
I think his head and his skull is so hard that he is like not going to get it. But that's a joke just for my medical
Well, he's
friends.
born
out
with
there.
it.
Maybe he's
That's
born
true.
with
If you're
it.
already born with it, can you have it? He cracks me up. Did you guys see Fitzmagic taking his shirt off with him
Yes.
after the game?
Yeah.
Right. Those two are just cards, and their time in the NFL may be short-lived overall because they may not remain healthy enough to play, but I'm here for it while it's happening.
What if they had a real coach, like a good, like a matching energy coach?
I feel like
Like a who?
they would, they'd be investigated by the NFL every other week because they would assume that people are doing cocaine in the locker room.
That's what I mean. They need a cokehead for a coach.
Could you imagine?
Like Matt Campbell.
Here's the ideal coach for them, Jim. Dan Campbell.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not enough. There's not enough hormones that could even that out. Like, I don't care who else you have on the team. That locker room, there would be something broken every hour, on the hour.
It'd be awesome.
You know,
I would be a fan.
you put that together and give them, I don't even care if it's any of these current NFL shows. Just give them their own. That's it.
Yeah.
You just stop every other NFL real-time dramatic production and just focus on that for an entire season.
Yeah.
We need a Netflix series instead of quarterback or receiver. We need one with running back featuring Cam Scatterbo.
Just Giants.
Put Dan in there.
Well, they've already been on Hard Knocks.
Yeah, you're right.
Run it back.
In-season Hard Knocks. Just start it now. Done.
Yep.
I don't care who they're what is it? Is it the division this year? That's how they're doing this, right? Just Giants everywhere. Yeah. This game also featured 4 straight tush pushes that ended up in a touchdown, starting at about, what was it, the 5 or 6 yard line? It had the whole NFL abuzz. So good win for the Giants in Thursday Night Football. We start in London Town on Sunday as the Broncos beat the Jets 13-11.
Minus 10 passing yards. It's like the first time in forever for the Jets. Bad.
Broncos get the win. Colts 31, Cardinals 27. Kyler Murray sits this one out. Call of Duty. He was on the headset. Jacoby Brissett gets the start. Colts win. Colts now 5-1. But the most fun news that came from this game didn't even happen in the game. It was in warm-ups. As Colts backup, Anthony Richardson suffered an orbital bone fracture while using stretching bands in his warm-ups.
Wait, did it snap and smack him?
What it would appear.
Nobody knows, but
I don't know how else you could do that.
Fracture.
I just want to know if he gave the pat on the top of his head when that happened so they can make sure they take him out.
It's bad.
Ugh.
That was not the only thing that happened. Cornerback Charvarius Ward collided with a teammate during warm-ups, resulting in a concussion.
Do you think they were slingshotting each other with the bands?
This sounds like, yes, I was just going to say, it sounds like a bunch of people like dicking around, like you have a middle school football team and they're like smacking each other with the bands and stuff. And the coach came over and was like, stop, someone's going to get hurt. They laughed, didn't stop, and people got hurt.
Yep.
Well, the video was released of Charvarius getting ran the hell over by somebody.
Stupid. Chargers 29, Dolphins 27. How much longer does Mike McDaniel have in Miami?
They're going to ride it out. This is the team that tanked for a player.
It's true. This is also the team that had
Who do you tank for this year?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
Yeah. This is also the team that had to pay Brian Flores all said and done because they said they ran him out of town.
It's crazy.
So, Chargers get the win, but I think the bigger story here is the Dolphins and what will happen the rest of the season. Patriots 25, Saints 19. Patriots now 4-2, and this is the beginning of what I call the stretch to give the Patriots the division. They are playing an absolute soft-ass schedule for the next 6 to 7 weeks. They get the job done. Steelers 23, the Browns 9. Dun, 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 dun. The Steelers find their way securely in the driver's seat at this point in the AFC North. Aaron Rodgers has a regular Aaron Rodgers performance, not high yards, gets a couple touchdown passes, helps the team get to the victory. At this point, Mike Tomlin doesn't even have to have a great season. He can play 500 the rest of this year, win the division, move on to the playoffs.
Yeah, good for him.
So, here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Panthers 30, Cowboys 27. Another big day from Rico Dowdle for the Panthers. Cowboys drop to 2-3.
Came in like
And one.
Well, Rico Dowdle is
go.
talking about how he's going to come in hot and show up Dallas and everything, and he did.
Right, Panthers have found another number one back. Chuba Hubbard has been hurt. This only helps their cause moving forward, having 2 quality backs, both that they can rely on at key times during the game. Seahawks 20, Jaguars 12. I got absolutely nothing for this game, so if nobody else does, we'll move on.
Yeah, no, I took the Jags just because I thought they would ride the emotional high. They did not. I don't really have much
Jigba
more.
had a day. I know that much.
All right. Rams 17, Ravens 3. I think the Rams in this game had like less than 250 total yards. They didn't matter. They win by 2 touchdowns. Cooper Rush gets benched for Snoop Huntley for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson returned from injury. Cannot come soon enough for Baltimore.
Yeah.
Raiders 20, Titans 10.
Titans suck.
Moving on. Packers 27, Bengals 18. Joe Flacco gets the start in this one for the Bengals. And Jim, you will be happy to know he was not sacked once. Only sacked once in this game. I don't know about QB hurries and pressures, but he had 219 yards on 45 attempts for 2 touchdowns. So I would say he was getting the ball out of there quickly.
Yeah, he was moving. I watched part of it. He was moving. He's an old pro. He knows how to save his own ass.
Packers now 3-1-1. And last, Nate's Bucks 30, the 49ers 19. Go on, Nate.
Yeah. They need to find either a new nutritionist or strength and conditioning coach, or because they are dropping like fucking flies in Tampa. I mean, they are now down their starting right tackle. They are down their top 4 receivers, their number 1 running back, and somehow Baker is playing at an MVP-like level, and I'm just thankful for that because there's no way in hell they should be 5-1 with the amount of injuries they have.
There it is, but yet they are, Nate, and that's good news.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. What's our live look in Sunday Night Football?
Live look in. It's currently halftime with the Chiefs up 13-10.
All right. We'll see. Setting up for a barn burner in that one. Other news in the NFL. This is from last week. The Vikings have made a request to the NFL to remove place kicker Will Reichard's miss from last week's game because it obviously struck a camera cable. It was ruled no good during last week's game. The NFL has admitted that, yes, indeed, that has happened, but we will do nothing to make a stat adjustment.
It's kind of a dick.
Yeah. Like the fact that you didn't see it in real time, and I'm not going to blame this on the officials because there's a lot that's going on. And Nate, I know you don't have any experience with this, but those camera cables are not something that you expect to be in play. So if a place kicker hits one of those, especially early in the kick, you're probably just going to assume that it was somehow misstruck.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that...
And I can promise you there's not a single official on that field watching the ball.
Correct. No. Right? Especially the guys under the goalpost. They're looking at the path of the ball and where is it in relation to the goalpost. And everyone else is looking at the action on the line of scrimmage and on the field otherwise. I
mean, even the guys under the goalpost there, they're watching action first, and then they'll find the path of the ball, like you said. Because they got to make sure, one, the ball's actually kicked. Because if it's not, hey, are my guys who are eligible at the snap downfield? If so, I got to make sure that they stay in bounds. There's no DPI, OPI, things like that. Like 90% of the things that get screwy in football happen on kick plays. Probably more than 90%, but almost all of the weird shit happens on kick plays.
Right. And I've got to imagine that now there will be some provision put to the rules committee to discuss if we think this happened, how can you initiate some review of this, and then what's the outcome? Like a re-kick, what do we do with this?
Yeah, because isn't there a thing, it was a couple years ago now, where like if they were, it was in Dallas, right, where the Jumbotron was so big, the punters were hitting punts off the Jumbotron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think they said if that were to happen, they would re-kick. Yes. But I mean, this is the first time it's happened, and I always wondered that, like, with that sky camp going on, like, it's only a matter of time before this happens. And then in the same, not the same game, but last week there was a batted ball ball that went up in the air and actually hit the cam and not the wire.
Yeah. So we got to figure this out. We're all grateful for the camera angles, but we have to have in place what happens when the cameras truly join the action. All right. That wraps up the NFL and brings us to other interesting news in sports.
Interesting news in sports.
Starting in the hockey world, the Penguins 2-1, already on track to have more wins than the Pirates.
Cracking her 2-0, baby.
There we go. The baseball world, the AL Championship Series has started. Blue Jays Mariners, game 1 in progress. Nate, we have an update.
You're still muted, Nate.
Big Dumper has homered in this game, by the way.
All right. We love a big dumper homer. And in the NLCS, we have the Dodgers Brewers. Nate's note here, what could have been if Vin Scully and Bob Uecker were still with us, what a call this would have been from both sides throughout this series. What a call. All right, last 2 bits in the NBA and golf. In NBA, LeBron James is going to miss multiple weeks to start the season due to sciatica on his right side. Now, I am no medical professional, Alex, but I think this is something that just will happen when people reach a certain age. This is to be expected. But I think the deeper meaning here is LeBron doesn't want to start the season, and we're going to find any justification that we can so that we don't have to pay fines because a marquee player is not on the court during the first few weeks.
So I was going to laugh because, I did laugh when this came across my phone or whatever as a breaking news. Because it was like, breaking news, LeBron James is getting old. And I don't want to say it just like that because sciatica is not necessarily a disease of old age. It is a disease of the tightening of the piriformis muscle. But it's not a great look for an older NBA player to say, I have to be out because of my sciatica. So, yes, very similar thought. T's and P's. I hope that you find the right stretches that loosen your butt.
Loosen your butt.
Your piriformis goes across kind of around in your butt area.
I mean, I'd like to hear, Alex, what are some strategies that you can use?
Well, you lay on your back.
Loosen your butt.
Yeah.
And you hold your leg up like this. And it's stretching your piriformis muscle. Don't get any ideas.
I hope you're editing now.
What?
Thank you for that demonstration, Alex.
Anytime.
This show is devolved.
All right, lastly, in the golf world, Tiger Woods went to social media to say that he has had another procedure on his back. Do we need to talk about this anymore? I think it's time for Tiger just to hang it up, not give anybody hope that he could be coming back. Do your TGL league, right? Be a spokesperson for golf. Show up to the Masters because you can play there for as long as you want. And let's just call it a career, bud. It's time. Alex, you're muted.
I agree.
It's the time of the episode where Nate gets kicked off.
Oh, it was, yeah, Nate
Every time.
Nate, for some reason, can't make it past about an hour and 15 minutes in any given episode.
And he's gone.
I think the
wonder if Sam has
from
it set
Harper
up
and
where
Company
she's
upstairs.
Maybe Sam has it set up to where she's like, this is how much time that you get with your friends.
Yeah.
You can instead and
She,
back to the
kicks him out.
sweatshop.
That's it. All right, that wraps up this week's episode of Sports Stuff with Jim Muff. As a remember, you can get us at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, poke, like, tickle.
Get the bell on.
Ding, ding.
Get that bell on. Make sure we get to 100 subscribers. We'll give away some free merch. If you're not already, get into the comments and all the socials, because the only way that we make this rocket ship go up, 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 and away to the moon, past the moon, make it interstellar, is to tell a friend, make a friend, be